For centuries, chemistry was all about bubbling beakers, careful observation, and a whole lot of painstaking trial and error. But today? Well, today, dealing with atoms, molecules, and complex materials generates an absolute mountain of data every single day. We're talking massive, sprawling databases of molecular structures, spectroscopic data, and complex reaction pathways. The sheer volume is literally impossible for any human brain to analyze manually. Trial and error just isn't going to cut it anymore. To make the next massive leaps in science, we need something that can process all that information and actually learn from it. And that is exactly what we're looking at in this explainer today, the AI chemistry revolution.
Here is our roadmap for today. First up, chemistry's AI evolution. Next, we'll get into core AI concepts explained. After that, real-world AI applications. And finally, limitations and the future.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, Chemistry's AI evolution. Think about how we got here. Historically, traditional chemistry relied heavily on human intuition. You'd perform experiments over and over again to find useful compounds. Now, that was effective, sure, but it was incredibly slow and really expensive. The next major stage was computational chemistry. This is where scientists started using computers to simulate molecules and calculate energies, which was a huge deal and really accelerated research. But today, we have officially entered the era of AI-driven chemistry. Instead of just performing the calculations we explicitly program into them, computers are now learning from previous experiments, recommending brand new molecules, and making actual independent predictions. It's really fascinating when you contrast the two fields. Chemistry generates data, studies molecules, and performs experiments. Artificial intelligence, on the flip side, learns from data, finds patterns, and makes predictions. When you put them together, it's a perfect match. They completely complement each other. Chemistry provides the raw material, and AI acts as this ultra-fast engine to find the hidden relationships we'd otherwise miss, creating much faster and vastly smarter scientific research. Moving right along to Section 2, Core AI Concepts Explained. So how does this actually work in practice? Everything starts with Step 1, data. This is the foundation. Without high-quality chemical data, AI literally cannot learn. Next up is Step 2. The algorithm. This is a step-by-step learning procedure like a neural network or a random forest, which processes that data to find structural patterns. Once that algorithm is trained on historical data, it becomes Step 3, a model. And finally, we get to the really exciting part, Step 4, prediction. The trained model can now look at a brand new, unseen molecule and estimate unknown outcomes, like its toxicity or its boiling point. To put that into perspective, the AI doesn't just act like a giant flashcard deck, memorizing that molecule A has high solubility and B has low solubility. Instead, it looks deeply at the underlying features of these molecules, things like their size, functional groups, bond types, and polarity. It actually learns the chemical reasons why A is high and B is low. So when a totally new molecule comes along, it can confidently predict its solubility based on those underlying patterns. But you might be wondering, what exactly is the data fueling these algorithms? Well, it falls into a few essential categories. First, we have molecular structures, which are often represented as graphs or text-based SMILES notation. Then we have spectral data, like IR or NMR spectra, where the AI is incredibly good at identifying hidden patterns. There's reaction data, mapping out reactants, catalysts, and temperatures. And, absolutely crucial for the pharmaceutical world, we have biological activity data, measuring things like drug potency and enzyme inhibition. This massive wealth of data is the pure fuel for the entire AI engine. Okay, let's look at the really fun stuff in Section 3, Real-World AI Applications. You've probably heard a lot about generative AI recently, and it is unlocking an entirely new frontier in chemistry. Rather than just analyzing existing molecules, generative models are actively creating. They are designing novel drug candidates entirely from scratch and suggesting new materials that have literally never existed before. It is, without a doubt, one of the most exciting and innovative frontiers in modern chemical research today. And the applications spanning across massive industries are already profound. AI is completely transforming drug discovery by rapidly predicting biological activity. In materials discovery, instead of scientists physically testing thousands of variants for solar cells, batteries, or semiconductors, predictive models can pinpoint the most promising ones instantly. It's revolutionizing spectroscopy analysis by automatically identifying compounds from huge, messy spectral datasets. And out in chemical manufacturing, AI is actively monitoring production to minimize energy consumption while maximizing products' quality. Let's talk about the sheer speed of this for a second. Traditional drug discovery is a grueling, incredibly expensive process that usually takes anywhere from 10 to 15 years. AI drastically shortens this timeline because scientists can now virtually explore millions of compounds and predict their properties instantly. AI can complete what used to be months of manual laboratory work in just a few hours. The cost savings and, more importantly, the potential to bring life-saving medicines to the public way faster are truly revolutionary. Here is a question every chemist constantly asks themselves in the lab. What product will actually form from these reactants? In the past, that required a ton of whiteboard planning, endless literature searching, and honestly, a bit of crossing your fingers during synthesis. Today, AI models map out complex retrosynthetic pathways and predict reaction products with remarkable accuracy. This means much faster synthesis planning, vastly reduced chemical waste, and a huge boost in lab efficiency. And driving all these incredible applications are specialized types of AI architectures. Machine learning is kind of the daily workhorse. It's perfect for finding patterns to predict properties or screen materials. Then you have deep learning, which uses complex artificial neural networks to handle highly intricate relationships, like image-based chemistry or 3D protein folding. And finally, there's reinforcement learning, where the AI optimizes itself through a system of rewards and penalties. That one is incredibly useful for process optimization and designing really complex, multi-step synthesis pathways. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, Limitations and the Future. Now, we have to stay grounded here. The old golden rule of computer science absolutely applies to chemistry. Garbage in, garbage out. Data is the foundation. If you feed an AI model poor quality, inaccurate chemical data, it is going to give you poor, completely unusable predictions right back. The AI is truly only as good as the experimental data it was trained on. And that leads us to another major hurdle, the black box problem. Some of these advanced models, especially the deep learning neural networks we mentioned, are so complex that scientists can't fully understand exactly why the AI made a certain prediction. It's uninterpretable. And because of that, we must always remember one key thing. An AI prediction is not proof. It is essentially a highly educated hypothesis. Every single AI prediction still requires strict physical laboratory verification to ensure it actually works out in the real world. Because of this massive intersection of fields, tomorrow's scientists are going to need a very different skill set than chemists from even just 50 years ago. To bridge the gap, students and professionals now need strong chemistry fundamentals, for sure, but they also need mathematics and statistics. They need programming skills, knowing languages like Python, R, or MATLAB. They need data science skills to clean and visualize data, right alongside traditional computational chemistry techniques. It has become a truly cross-functional discipline. Looking ahead, experts are pointing toward an incredibly inspiring future, fully autonomous laboratories. Imagine smart labs where robotic systems are completely guided by AI algorithms. The AI suggests a new material, the robots physically synthesize it, test it, and then feed those results right back into the AI so it can learn and improve. All of this happening continuously, 24/7, with minimal human intervention. This setup is going to drive personalized medicine, green chemistry, and sustainable manufacturing to heights we can barely even imagine today. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. AI is not here to replace chemists. It's here to empower them. It takes the tedious, repetitive trial and error completely off our plates. So, if AI can learn from our past experiments to invent new molecules autonomously, what impossible problems will human chemists solve next? Once our minds are finally freed from the routine, the potential for innovation is absolutely limitless. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope you're as excited about the future of chemistry as I am.